Hey, my name's Holly, and today I'm going to take you through the steps to make cold process soap, or lye soap, some people like to call it, but it's all natural soap. It's really great for your skin. Since I started using it, I don't even have to use lotion anymore, but here we go, let's get to it. I'm measuring out some distilled water for my lye water mixture. You're going to want safety glasses, a mask, and definitely gloves to protect your skin from the lye because it's caustic and pretty much poisonous, as you can see on the bottle. Super poison. You can also dissolve bodies with it if you need to. I don't recommend I don't recommend that though. So I think we need about 130 grams for the soap we're making today. It's a 2-pound batch, 2 pound of oils, and then your lye water solution will add to that, making it about 2.5 pounds. And you probably shouldn't put it back in the container, but I haven't had a problem yet because I only have little 2-pound containers. Shaky, shaky. Next, we're gonna measure out our hard oils first. This is palm oil. It actually helps contribute hardness to the bar. The next one is coconut oil. 76-degree coconut oil. There's a few different ones, melting points. I think 92 is the other one, and then fractionated is liquid at room temp. Using a scooper really helps get it out of the container. So much better than, I don't know what other method you use, to be honest with you. Can you think of one?
Probably a spoon.
Yeah, well, it works better than a spoon, I can tell you that. I think I tried that when I first started. So, the recipe I'm using is 20% palm and 30% coconut oil. So once we get these in the bowl, we'll melt them down in the microwave to make them liquid, so we can incorporate all of the oils together. It just makes it easier to see. It's nice and liquid. Sometimes I don't melt them fully in the microwave because it's hot enough that if you play with it a little bit, you can get it all liquefied in the bowl, and then you don't have to wait for it to come down to temperature. I like to soap it room temperature, so that way I don't have to worry about my oils and my lye being the same temperature or close to the same temperature. So my oils and lye are usually in the 80-degree range if I'm doing it the same day. And now we're going to add the olive oil, which I believe is 40% of the mixture. What are we at? 40% olive, 30 coconut, that's 70, 20 of palm. Yep, okay. 10%. And then 10% left. Oh, what's on my bowl? That must be leftovers. Yum yum. It's just soap, it's fine. It's soap.
It's not soap.
It's soap. That's the only thing. So that's the other thing. You probably want to have dedicated equipment for soap making. But it's also kind of dumb because you clean your stuff with soap. So I'm not sure why it would matter. Except just the lies is something you got to worry about. Okay, so I just added, I want to say it's, almond oil. Just added 5% almond oil. And now I'm going to add 5% castor oil. This adds bubbles to the bar. Makes it nice and sudsy. That ends up being about 45 grams. I usually work in grams because my scale doesn't go to a point a point hundredth of an ounce. It only goes to a point tenth of an ounce. So it's easier for me to measure this way. Next, I'm adding some kaolin clay. Depending on who you ask, sometimes it adds slip to the bar, sometimes it helps hold your fragrance. I know that when I use it, it makes my fragrance smell stronger, so that's why I use it. Now I'm just incorporating the oils and the clay, getting it all nice and intermingled. They're having a party. What? Now we're going to add the lye water mixture, not solution, because I hate that word. We're adding the lye water mixture to our oils. And this is going to make soap.
I hope so.
It's going to make salt. What is that?
What?
It's a kind of salt. What the heck is it called? Now I forget. My brain has eluded me. But
Table?
it's got no, not table salt. the amino, or not amino, but the oils, the different acids in the oils turn into salts with the lye. That's the chemical process that takes change. Now this is pretty much at an emulsification. You're kind of getting towards a light trace. You really don't have to stick blend that long. See how it's kind of coating the stick blender? That's enough for me because I usually like time to work with my batter so I can make swirls and stuff like that. These are my Body Safe mica colorants. That one is titanium dioxide. I keep it in the fridge, label it appropriately so my children don't eat it, thinking it's coffee creamer. I'm pouring off my batter into separate containers for my different layers because the soap I'm making, I want it to look like kind of like champagne in a glass. Like if you cut open a half a glass of champagne, this is kind of my rendition of what it would look like. And today we're using the strawberries and champagne scent from Candle Supplies.
Candle something.
Candles and Supplies. It's like an hour and a half for me. I'll have to look it up. I'll leave a link. But anyway, their fragrances are pretty good. I like to go sniff them a lot. It's a fun field trip for us. So I'm adding the rose gold mica for one of the layers. And I'm just going to make them different shades. The top layer is going to be, well, the top layer. And some of the batter I'll use for soap icing. This is probably one of my most intricate soaps that I've done, and I'm pretty much a newbie at this. I only started making soap in March. When did we film this? Was it June?
Yeah.
June we filmed this, so I only had a couple months of making soap under my belt, but I read a lot of books and did a lot of research and really, really liked it. Kind of became an addict, I won't lie. Okay. So sometimes, depending on what I'm doing with my soap, I'll either use my stick blender to incorporate my colors, or I'll use a whisk. Since I'm doing layers, stick blending's okay because you want it to be a little thick enough to be fluid, but thin enough to be flat, if that makes any sense at all. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Right, well, I'm about to show you what I mean. So I'm adding some titanium dioxide to lighten up this pink layer for the strawberry. That looks pretty darn good, I have to say. Oh, the cat's here. The cat came for a visit. Making noise and being loud. She's old. Alright, and then this is our darker. This is going to be our bottom layer. That's really bright. It's very vibrant. I have to give Brambleberry a little bit of props for their colorants. They're pretty good. I like them so far. I've only gotten a few, but starting out, being a starting out soaper. Is that what you call it? A newbie sober. I'm trying to determine what I need, and if you're starting soap making too, that's kind of the hardest part. Everybody says try to get big quantities because it's cheaper, especially if you're trying to do it for a business. But I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what you need or how it's going to work, so you got to get the samples. Just so you know what you need. Right?
Sorry, I'm playing with the cat.
Fine, just ignore me, that's fine.
Not ignoring you, I'm just giving the cat more attention.
Alright, so this is our fragrance, Strawberries and Champagne. It's a Victoria's Secret's dupe. Smells awesome. I know I'm using the whole thing, so I'm just kind of eyeballing what I need in each piece of the soap. It doesn't really matter too much as long as it's the right amount for the whole batch. Ooh, I dropped something. Ooh, at least I didn't drop it in the soap. We're currently at death pudding in terms of our saponification process. Still very toxic to your, caustic to your skin. So you don't want to get it caustic.
Why? What's that?
I mean, it causes cancer.
Oh. Cancer?
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt if you get it on your skin, and it's gonna burn. If you've ever seen, what's that movie? Fight Club.
Oh.
It shows you kind of what. I mean, I've never seen anybody get a burn that bad, but I ain't trying to find out either, which is why I wear gloves.
I have to watch Fight Club again.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's really cool. Shows you how they make soap, sorta. From fats rendered from people.
That's the premise of that movie.
That's how they made their money for their
No, I know.
for their empire
I don't think that's the point.
to take over the
I
world.
don't think that's the thing they're trying
It's
to
no, it I fully believe that there is, now you want to tamp it down to get out air bubbles. I fully believe that there is something to be said for your gaining your skills, your crafting skills for when you want to start an apocalyptic event in the world. You need skills. So soap making is a really good skill to have when you're, you don't have supermarkets open anymore and stuff. I'm just saying. So let's see. Okay, so we're doing the second layer. As you see, it's kind of starting to set up just a little bit, which is okay. It's still pretty fluid though. But we're trying to get straight, even layers. Probably not going to be perfect. That's okay too, because champagne's really not a perfect layers, but I don't want it to break through the other layer. That's why I'm using the spatula to break the fall of the fluid, the death pudding. No, it's really not that bad. It smells delicious though. Don't you think?
I can't smell it. Smell-o-vision.
Okay, so I'm just scraping out the container. Ooh, excuse me.
What the hell was
A hiccup. Just scraping out the container to get all the soap out. I mean, I literally scraped the crap out of that thing to get every little bit of soap I can. And once you start getting into dribbles, you start making messes. But that's okay. It's just part of it. Like usually I use a separate, I almost said container, a separate counter for my soap making so I don't poison my family with lye, but we're doing okay so far. I clean up really well, and most people just use their kitchen. Okay, so again, air bubble. I see that. Why didn't you tell me before?
I don't think I noticed.
Getting out the air bubbles. It didn't have to be perfectly flat. I'm doing a gold sparkle. No, it's sparkle gold. It's called sparkle gold mica from Brambleberry for a mica line. I don't know. I just kind of like the distinction between this and the white. I did another soap very similar because I'm trying to do a series of 3 similar soaps. This is the second one in that series. The first one was Peach Prosecco. The scent was also from Brambleberry. their soiree collection. It was super smelly, delicious. I realize my mica is blowing around. Did we have the fan on?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot.
It was hot.
Okay. So, this is our top layer. Some of it's going to get poured on the soap, and the rest is going to set up for icing, piping icing. I've only done it a few times, so I'm not the greatest at it. Again, we're going to use the spatula to break the fall so we don't bust through our other layers of soap.
That was a strong word you used.
What?
Bust.
Bust. Oh,
Bust through the other layers.
it's a powerful word.
Like a home invasion.
Just gonna bust in there and mess up the layers. Can't have that. Has to be nice and uniform. 'Cause, like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, but they'll be separate. That's what's important. Okay, and you can see even after taking the time to pour those layers, the batter's still relatively fluid. I mean, you're starting to get where it's holding some shape, which is okay because it needs to set up to do the icing. I'm just using a round tip. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know. I got it at a craft store. It's plastic. It's not even metal, for crying out loud. That's what happens when you're a starting out person. You don't have money for nothing, so you make do with what you can. Especially when you started making it as a hobby. But look how fun! Oh my gosh. There's some weird satisfaction with watching those dollops being made, and I don't know why. So, the reason I chose the round tip was to make bubbles, essentially. Since you're thinking of, again, a cut in half glass of champagne. Can you picture it?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Can you really
I'm
picture
there. I'm mid-sip.
it? No, we're looking. We're not sipping yet.
Oh, we're not sipping.
We're
Sorry.
smelling the glass. We're looking at the glass. We didn't sip yet.
Sorry. Look, alcohol doesn't normally stick around that long for me to look.
This is an experience.
Oh, you're right.
It looks delicious. It smells delicious. You want to drink it, but we're not there yet. Alright, so that's my first layer. I'm only doing half the side because when I think of a bubbly glass of champagne... Uh-oh. Whoops. I'll cover that up. It'll be fine. It's starting to get a little more fluid. My bubbles are not so round. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's a heat thing or maybe I'm mucking with it too much. I don't know. Oh, I did it again. Oops. It's okay. Wait, where's all my batter? Do I have more? Do I even have more to finish?
No, you squeeze it out.
Oh.
No, that's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I guess I should be measuring my batter a little better. Well, I know. Okay, so again, as a new soap maker, I'm still learning recipe stuff. Oh, I know why I didn't need a third layer. And learning my molds, what fits in them, what I have extra of. When I don't do icing, the rest of this icing batter goes in little molds for guest soap. Alright, so we're glittering. I love glitter. It's so pretty.
Too much glitter.
That looks like maybe a little too much. I almost said
You
that.
put glitter
I
on
almost said
every
that thing
soap
I
you
always
make.
say that I shouldn't have said.
Literally almost every soap.
I do not glitter every soap. Yes, it is eco-friendly glitter. Wow, it's everywhere too. Look at that.
Fan's still on.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is Nurture Soap Blush Rush glitter, and it's very pink. I likes it a lot. Okay, where's my? Why didn't I put my other balls on?
Are you asking your
I'm asking myself.
past self?
Yes. Okay, so did you miss that footage?
No.
Oh, never mind. They're not on the soap yet, so clearly you couldn't have missed it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Blame me
so-
for
You left them in your desk drawer.
So, okay, so these are bubbles. These are made out of soap dough. And basically with soap dough... Uh-oh, dropping stuff. My big gut will catch it. There we go. Basically what soap dough is like Play-Doh. It's made out of soap. It's saponified, but it's not yet hardened. So meaning you can touch it without it terrorizing your skin or burning a hole in your flesh. And you can make really cool little soapy creations out of it. It is the funnest thing ever, and you really should try it if you're making soap or thinking about making soap and you haven't. Eventually you need to put this on your bucket list of soap making. It is so much fun. I know these are just balls, but I've made little apples. What else did I make with that soap dough?
Unicorn horns?
No. That was the ears. I made unicorn ears. What else? I've made other stuff too. Yeah, I made little books, little candles. I've made a lot of stuff so far. And I still have so much more stuff I want to make. But these are supposed to represent bubbles in the champagne. Why didn't I put... Okay, so some point I'm going to put melt and pour embeds on this bad boy.
I think it's really amusing how mad you are at yourself.
I can't believe I did that because they're the biggest thing on this soap. Okay. Anyway, so I'm putting on the balls to make it representative of bubbles. I'm putting on the bubbles. That's what I'm doing. They're not balls, they're bubbles. They're delicious champagne bubbles.
Ones, technically like foam.
Kind of like crossing that threshold of the foamy into individual bubble. Big bubble.
I see.
Where are my freaking soap embeds? This is like irking. I should have did that first. That would have been a weird cut though. Could you imagine that?
What?
If we changed the footage to where I put the actual embeds on first and then turn around and put the soap dough on.
I don't know.
That would have looked really weird.
That's fair.
But right now I'm really wishing we would have done it.
Live and learn.
Okay. This is a lot of... Let's fast forward. TV magic. You can take that part out. I don't care.
No, that's fine. Yeah, definitely.
I'm doing stuff still.
Yeah, you gotta push him in.
Yeah, I'm pushing them in. Push it
I'd
real
argue
good.
that's pretty important.
No.
I'd argue that pushing
Push
stuff
those
in is
balls
pretty-
in.
yeah.
Family. Think children. Think of the children.
See 'em bubble?
So I'm pushing the bubbles in to make sure they stick to the soap.
There you go.
It don't always work. Sometimes they just fall off. Like, especially when you cut it. They do. It's just a part of it. They just fall off. But I don't know. Usually once you push them in there, they sit in there pretty well and they stay pretty good. Most of them stay. You get the occasional stray roller.
It's not gonna be a disclaimer when you sell.
No, because as long as you get it all intact. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I know I've stuck some back on with water. You can use water and it'll kind of What am I doing? Oh my goodness! Why did I not put the embeds on? What was I thinking? How did I do this? I'm very upset right now. Look, I put them where all the embeds go. What am I doing? I'm messing it up. Oh no. Okay, well, I used sugar pearls to make tiny bubbles.
Didn't I eat one?
Probably. It probably ate one that fell off the soap too, but I do not recommend.
Not dead, so.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're one of that less than 1% that didn't die from eating lye pearl. See?
Happens.
Just cupcake pearls. I think you want to get the kind that don't have chocolate. I read that somewhere. These are just sugar. So they'll just dissolve in the water. It's just for pretty. Doesn't really do anything for your skin. What happened to the embeds?